What's happening, people? We're back. We're back again. Just me on my own today. I just wanted to have a quick chat regarding some of the transfers that we are seeing coming through and filtering through. Obviously, transfer deadline day today. There's been some questionable deals going on. Teams are starting to hit the panic button. Teams are starting to get a little bit of, you know, little bit of worries creeping in now with injuries and the fact that they have left it late. And we're going to discuss just some of the deals that have gone through today and some of the deals that potentially can go through. Um, Off the back of a shocking performance last night from Liverpool, we saw first thing this morning that we were linked to Arthur Melo, which looks as though that's pretty much a done deal. Saw today that he is at the airport flying in. All of the respected journalists have all been said that the deal's pretty much done. Everything's finalised with the player with Juventus, and Arthur Melo is going to be the so-called answer to Liverpool's midfield conundrum. And I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. It feels a little bit panicky. It feels a little bit like the Jordan Henderson situation yesterday has potentially pushed them to push the button on this deal. He must have been on their list. He must have been one that they were looking at as a potential um, person to come in and solve the problems that we've got at the minute. I'm not too sure how good he is. I know he's been linked with a lot of clubs over the last sort of 12 months. I know Arsenal were linked with him. I'm pretty sure that Man United were linked with him at one point as well. And I don't particularly know an awful lot about him. I know that he was highly thought of at Barcelona. It didn't really work out with them, and he went to Juventus. And I don't think it really suited Juventus' style of football. We're a very pragmatic team under Allegri. So I think he's been looking for a way out. And with it being obviously a World Cup year, he wants to be in that Brazil squad. He is a full Brazilian international. So potential he could be a hidden gem. I think my only worry with this sort of deal is the fact that there's no buy option in there. So it's kind of a lose-lose for Liverpool, because if he comes and stinks the place out, you know, we can send him back. That's not a problem, but he doesn't really help us now and give us any cover. But then also, if he comes in and does really well and he performs better than what people are thinking, or what Juventus think that he could, all of a sudden we've got to negotiate with them for a price, and also he can then pick another club if he wants to. So it does smell a little bit panicky from Liverpool, and it doesn't surprise me with the news that obviously Henderson's dropped out last night with a hamstring injury, and we don't know how long he's going to be out for, which is a bit of a concern in terms of just the depth. I know that Thiago, I think, was back in training today along with Jota. Curtis Jones is back, but I'm going to try and keep a positive mind, and I'm going to I don't think Klopp would have signed off the deal unless he thinks he can offer something. I don't think Klopp's the type of manager that will just bring somebody in for the sake of it. If he doesn't think that there's some sort of potential for him to fit into the team. And I'm sure he was on the list of players that we were looking at, but he probably was just quite a way down the list. I know that Tielemans has been linked with us. I know that the likes of Ruben Neves, which is the player that I really wanted us to sign, he was the one that I wanted us to get. He's been linked. I know that we tried to get Conrad Lima as well, and we couldn't get him out of Leipzig. So I think this is just kind of the next thing. As I say, I don't really know an awful lot about him. I've been looking, obviously, as you do, on YouTube and trying to find out as much about him as I can. And to be honest with you, all I can really think of is he's a kind of a hybrid between the likes of Thiago and Keita. He looks very neat and tidy on the ball. He looks like he's got an eye for a pass. He doesn't look like he's someone who's going to be spraying it left, right, and centre. But he might be one of them players that can, like Thiago, that just keeps us going, keeps us ticking over. Looks like he's got neat control. Looks like he's got good, as I say, good feet. I don't think there's any issue with his quality on the ball. I think on the ball he looks very, very accomplished player. My only issue from what I see of him, he is quite slight, he is quite small, and I do just worry about the physicality and how he deals with that. But listen, I'm not going to jump to any conclusions. It's a player in the door for us, which is what we need. If he does prove just to be cover, then that's fine as well. I'll take cover for him on that, because at the end of the day it's needs must, and that's what we need. So Liverpool get a midfielder through the door. It's probably not the name that we all wanted or hoped for, but again, it's somebody through the door, and we've got to be happy with that, and let's get behind him and see what he can do. And you never know, this could be one of them ones that come in, does really well, and all of a sudden we're thinking, hold on a minute, this is a player, why has no one got in for him? So we've taken a chance on him. I think it's a calculated risk, but we'll wait and see. Another deal that was completed today, but which we all knew about for the last couple of days, was Antony to Manchester United. I'm not too sure about this one. I think his best goal scoring season in the Dutch league was 8 goals. He's another wide player. They seem to be inundated with wide players, Man United, and I just wonder whether this means that Rashford will play through the middle. I know that he's been wanting to play through the middle for some time now, so maybe that this pushes Rashford through the middle, and also then obviously gives Sancho and Anthony pace either side. So he's a good player for United, and I think it's one that they wanted him because Ten Hag knows him, and Ten Hag obviously knows how to get the best out of him. Maybe he's a young player, another Brazilian international. So again, it's going to strengthen them. They're going to have more options, which I think obviously Man United need up front as well. They're not blessed with what you'd call elite strikers. Obviously Ronaldo, but at 38, how much can he offer? And I think the way that Ten Hag wants to play, I just don't see Ronaldo being his first choice, just because he likes to have pace up front. So Anthony's done it's 86 million, I believe, which is breaks the record for the biggest transfer on transfer deadline day. So Man United doing business, and I'm not too sure whether that's going to be the end of it for them, or if they're going to continue to bring somebody in. Manchester City, like they needed any more help or any more strengthening, they've brought in Akanji from Borussia Dortmund, which again is a bit of a strange one because I think he's one of their sort of their guaranteed starters, Akanji for Dortmund. So it's a strange one. Maybe it's just that City came in for him and it was too good for him to turn down, and maybe I'm not too sure what his contract situation was at Borussia Dortmund. Maybe he's coming into the last couple of years or year of his contract, so maybe that they just decided to cash in on Akanji, and it's obviously an opportunity for him to come in. He seems like a good defender. I believe he's a Swiss international. So again, they've strengthened in the back line, and they do tend to get injuries in the defence, Manchester City, don't they? Most seasons they tend to have 2 or 3. I know Laporte and Diaz, they tend to miss a lot of games. Stones is not always the most reliable with his fitness either. So maybe just bringing another person in. I don't think they really rate Ake that much, and maybe Ake now is free to go out the door, but that will remain to be seen on City. But they obviously they're looking strong already, and they've strengthened even more. So let's all just pray that the injuries continue for them at the back, or that Akanji just doesn't settle and he has a bit of a mare, because at the minute they're looking like the team. Them and Arsenal looking like the teams to stop. And then moving on to Chelsea, really, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is coming back to the Premier League. It's been sort of confirmed, £13 million, or I think that's pounds or euros, but and then Marcos Alonso is obviously going in the other direction to Barcelona. Very strange one, this one. He seems to be that sort of player now. I think when you need a striker, Aubameyang's the name that comes on your list because you can get him. He's probably going to double his wages from what he was earning at Barcelona. He's obviously proven in the Premier League that he can score goals with Arsenal. He scored a lot of goals for them in a relatively short space of time. He scored some big goals for them. Obviously signed his contract and then he stunk the place out. So I'm not too sure how that one's going to play out. Personally, I think again it's a bit of a panic buy by Chelsea. I think they need a striker in. Obviously, Tuchel knows him from his time at Dortmund. Can do it on his day, but I just think I think his ship has sailed, and I'm not too sure if he's going to be the answer. I think Chelsea are looking for just a short-term fix at the moment, and then maybe Aubameyang for a season is the answer. I know they've got Armando Broja up front, he's a young lad who obviously is a bit unproven at this level in Chelsea's team, but they need a goal scorer. I think they need someone with experience up front, and maybe Aubameyang is the answer. If they can get Aubameyang fit and firing, then who knows? But yeah, I'm not. I think Chelsea are becoming a bit of a retirement home at the minute. I mean, they've got a 38-year-old centre half. They're getting a 33, 34 now, Aubameyang striker. I'm not too sure if he's going to be the answer for them. But again, it's needs must, and he's available. They've chose to do the deal, and it looks like it's going to be done pretty soon, or it'll be done way before the deadline. I believe he's already had his tests and medical stuff, and all the deal paperwork's agreed. So it's just a case of dotting the I's and crossing the T's with that one. This is an interesting one. So Douglas Luiz is a name that's flying around. I think Villa want to sell. He's in the last year of his contract. I think he wants to leave. He wants to play in the Champions League, or certainly in a European side. And it looks as though Arsenal are the front runners for Douglas Luiz. Obviously played against them last night, scored. They would have been able to have a good look at him maybe from his performance yesterday. They thought, yeah, you know what, he can add something to our squad. And I think again for Arsenal in terms of their squad depth in that holding midfield role, with Xhaka. Obviously, disciplinary record's not great, so it's one where, and Partey's injury record's not great, so maybe they're just thinking that get another body in, Premier League proven, going to cost them 25 million is the fee that's being touted around at the moment. I think Arsenal offered 20, that was rebuffed by Villa. And I think they're going there, from what I've just read in the last few minutes, is that they're going in with another offer of 25 million. So I think that will probably be enough to get that deal done. I would expect that one to get over the line at some point today. I'm not too sure. Again, Arsenal fans are probably a little bit underwhelming for them. I'm probably hoping for a bigger name, but they're doing so well at the minute. It's kind of hard to convince anybody to come who's going to get straight into the team. And maybe Douglas Luiz is resound to being, third or fourth choice in the pecking order at Arsenal, and maybe he's willing to take the risk of trying to force his way in. I know they've got obviously the Europa League stuff coming. So that again, that's going to be squad depth, and he'll get minutes, and it's maybe just a way of protecting Partey and Xhaka a little bit. But yeah, you'd have to say it's a pretty decent signing for Arsenal. I don't think it's going to change too much in the way they're starting 11, but it gives them a bit more squad depth, and maybe that's what they're looking at as potentially something that they can improve in the last few hours of the window. Where does that leave Youri Tielemans then? Because, as I say, he's been linked to Liverpool. That's not happened. He's been linked to Arsenal. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. He's been linked to United. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. So potentially, where does he end up? And there's a lot of talk online. The Aston Villa fans are saying that if he's available for 25 million and they're going to get 25 million for Douglas Luiz, they would like that money reinvested in Youri Tielemans. Now, the only problem I think they'll have with that is I don't know if Tielemans is going to want to leave Leicester for Villa. No disrespect to Villa or Leicester. They're probably at the same level, aren't they, in terms of where they are, in terms of their expectation. And maybe he's thinking, if I hold out to the end of the season, I can leave on a free and potentially have a better option for a move. So I think that one will take some convincing to get Tielemans there. But then again, Villa is a big club, and Villa have got a good squad. And I would say on paper, Villa are a better side than Leicester at the current moment. So maybe Steven Gerrard can work a bit of magic and get Tielemans through the door. He's going to have the money there to spend. I'd be very, very, very surprised if Aston Villa are not having some sort of conversation with Leicester or with Tielemans' representatives in terms of potentially striking a deal for him, because I think he would slot straight into their midfield. I think they do miss someone like him, and I think that obviously they've got Cameron now, they've got McGinn, and maybe Tielemans is the answer. And it might free up the likes of Coutinho and Buendia a bit more. So maybe that's something to watch out for today. There's absolutely no I've got no inside information on that one. It's just based on what I've been reading online and what the Aston Villa fans are potentially looking at and what they would like to see. Hector Bellerin, just going back to Arsenal, Hector Bellerin is going to Barcelona on a free. Arsenal again have given away a player. They've decided to cancel his contract. They've by mutual consent that's been terminated, and he's free to join Barcelona. I believe it's his boyhood club anyway, isn't it? Barcelona. I think he came from there when he was very, very young. So a bit of a homecoming for Bellerin there. So as I say, that's been done. Willian. So Fulham are doing some business. Kurzawa from PSG, the left back, he's come in on a season-long loan, I believe, or it might be a one-year deal. I'm not too sure. I think it's a season-long loan for cover at left back. But Willian, the ex-Chelsea and Arsenal winger, I believe he's been training with the club for a couple of weeks now, and he's now signed a one-year deal with Fulham. Brings them a bit of experience, brings them obviously a player who's proven in the Premier League, probably way past his best now, but it gives them another dimension, another body, and who knows, if he can rediscover some of the form that he showed during his time at Chelsea, then Fulham, he might be beneficial to Fulham. So we'll wait and see on that one. But yeah, that's been done. Kurzawa's in. I believe that Vinicius, the guy who was on loan at Tottenham, I think it was last season or the season before, he looks as though he's going to be joining from Benfica for about £4 million as well. So again, Fulham doing some late business. They've actually started really well, Fulham. So maybe this is just a case of getting a few more bodies through the door, just to kind of really, really try and cement their place in the Premier League this season. I think that's going to be sort of the minimum for them this season is to stay up. And obviously they've made a great start, so maybe just a few more bodies in, just to give them a bit more options moving forward. Dendoncker, back to Aston Villa. Dendoncker has, I believe, he's agreed a deal to go to Aston Villa. Another signing through the door. Maybe that kind of cancels the the Tielemans stuff that we were talking about. Maybe that cancels that back to Villa, or Tielemans to Villa. So Dendoncker from Wolves to Villa is a done deal. I believe that's pretty much signed and sealed. So again, Dendoncker's a pretty underrated player for Wolves, and maybe this is one that they might just benefit from. Villa. He's again another proven Premier League player, still a good age. I think he's only 25, 26, so he's got a good few years ahead of him, and maybe Villa might be getting a decent side in there. Surprised by Wolves. They've also let Willy Bolly leave to Nottingham Forest. So Forest doing a bit more business as if they need to sign anyone else. I think that's 20 players now that Forest have signed this window. But Willy Bolly, yeah, he's left Wolves and gone to Forest as well. So it's a bit of a strange policy from Wolves. They're letting a lot of these players that have done so well from over the last few years, and maybe Bruno Lage is trying to reset the culture and trying to bring in some fresh faces and trying to get out what he claims is dead wood. But yeah, Willy Bolly's gone. Connor Cody's gone this summer. Obviously now Dendoncker's gone. Ruben Neves has obviously been linked with a move away for a long time now. So who knows where Wolves stand? Obviously, maybe it's a bit of a balance in the books where they spent a few pound on Guedes this summer. So maybe that's just balance in the book. Idrissa Gana Gueye has returned to PSG returned to Everton from PSG, and I believe that he's straight into their squad. So that's another signing, an undisclosed fee for Everton. Obviously, I'm worried for Everton. I mean, if I was an Everton fan, Idrissa Gueye coming back is not a deal that would really excite me. And yeah, who knows with Everton? I think they're going to be in a relegation battle all season. I mean, they need a striker desperately, and Neal Maupay is not the answer. They've signed a defensive midfielder. I'm not too sure that's going to make any difference to Everton this summer. This season, I think they're going to have a really long, hard season this season. But listen, it's bodies through the door. It's competition for places, and that's all that Frank Lampard, I suppose, can do at this current moment in time. So yeah, that's another signing for Everton. Just trying to look through, see if there's anything else that's happening currently. I'm not too sure. There's been a lot of rumours, but again, how much of these rumours are really credible? I'm not too sure. I think that's going to be it for now, guys. I mean, let us know what you think. Let us know who you need. Let us know who you don't need. Let us know who you'd like to see come through the door. There was a really weird, strange link with Dan James to Tottenham, which I saw earlier, which was really, really strange. I think there was a little bit of noise around Lucas Moura potentially leaving for a European side. So maybe they were looking at Dan James as a replacement for him. He's a pacey winger who potentially could play as a wing back. So yeah, we'll wait and see. But yeah, guys, that's it for now. Maybe back later with a bit more information later on this evening. But yeah, let us know in the comments. Let us know who you'd like to sign. Let us know if there's any deals that you think might be going ahead and might not be going ahead. But yeah, let us know. If you don't mind subscribing, liking, doing all the usual stuff, it really does help us out, guys. So if you don't mind, that would be great. But yeah, let us know. Contact us on Twitter, contact us on Facebook, contact us on YouTube, whatever you like. Let's have a conversation, and maybe we'll pop back later tonight to see whether there's been anything else done. But yeah, for now, guys, enjoy deadline day, and catch up with you soon. See you later.